back to Read Instead. I'm Jake. Glad to have you here today. This is it. This is it. But also, this is it. The last 5-star book that I have rated on Goodreads that I will be reviewing on this channel. And I hope to read a lot more 5-star books. But without further ado, let's talk about It by Stephen King. Okay, so wow, I can't believe I got here. When I first started this YouTube channel, I can't believe I've made this many videos and reviewed this many books, but I'm enjoying it, and I think I'm going to enjoy talking about this book today. This is 1986's It by Stephen King. This is the biggest book that I've ever read, that's for sure. It is a whopper of a book. But as I said before, when a book is really long, I said this a few videos ago, I believe, in regards to the novel Swan Song by Robert McCammon. A book can be really long, but never drag, never think to yourself, I want this to get over or anything like that. And that's quite a feat, I think, for an author. And Stephen King is, obviously one of the best, one of the most prolific authors ever. And this book, I would assume, would be on a lot of Stephen King fans, right at the top of their list for their favorite Stephen King books. And I really enjoyed it. Let's talk about it. This book opens up in 1958, I believe, and it's in a town called Derry, Maine. A horrific thing happens to a little boy. What you realize and you come to know is that this town of Derry, Maine, has an evil entity that visits it every 27 years. So in 1958, after this terrible thing happens, the evil entity is still present and roaming the town, and it starts to affect children. This entity, this evil oppression that is over the town of Derry forms itself in different ways. Mainly it forms itself in the form of a clown. And this evil entity, and that's why it's just called It, that it is the evil entity. It has a hunger for children. I don't just mean hunger, like your stomach's hungry. It just has a hunger to torment kids. What happens is you meet a particular boy. I'm not going to go over all the names of the boys and the characters in this book, but I will tell you that they each have distinct personalities and character traits, and I'll tell you about those. But you see a friendship start to form from sort of these outcasts of young kids. And they're all in the town of Derry, and they all have different sort of quirks about them, if you will. There's a sort of the leader of the group. It has a very severe stuttering problem. There is another boy that has a very sort of a mother that is always on his case about being sick, and he is sort of, his mind gets sort of polluted by his mother, that he's always sick, that he can't go outside, he can't do this, he can't do that because of his asthma or this, his allergies or this or that. And there's sort of another kid that's a loudmouth, a real loudmouth. He kind of can't control his mouth and the things that come out of it, and he's sort of always vying for attention, and he's kind of the clown, or the class clown of the group, always doing impressions of people and doing different voices and stuff like that. There's another kid who just moves to the town, and he gets taken in by this group of sort of outcasts. This kid has a really rough time. He's really chubby, and he gets picked on, violently assaulted by some town thugs there's a girl who eventually ends up in the group, and she has sort of this sick and twisted relationship with her father. Not a good home life at all. Anyway, they uh, have a develop a very tight bond. They call themselves the Losers Club. The Losers Club. They sort of hide away in a little fort kind of thing that they made along a creek, and basically they endure. That's what they do. They endure this evil entity, and through the endurance of this evil entity and through their survival of it, and they pick up that this thing really exists. The town doesn't is ignorant of it. They don't. The rest of the town doesn't really know about it, but they start to do their own research. They go to the library and they find different articles and stuff like that from 27 years before that, and they sort of start to do like this little detective work, and they figure out that this evil entity exists. And like I said, they endure it, they survive it. That's where I need to stop and say that is half of the book. That is half of the book, because the other half of the book is 27 years later in 1985. And all of these once children are now adults, and they all have adult lives. And they've put a lot of those quirks that held them back, those childhood insecurities and challenges that they needed to overcome, they've put them behind them. And they take it upon themselves they want to get rid of this evil entity. They want to once and for all get rid of it. So that's why this book is 1,400 pages. There's 7 characters. There's 7 kids and adults in the Losers Club, and it goes back and forth between 1958 and 1985. It bounces back and forth, and again, that's why this book is so long. But I'll tell you, you're interested and you're invested in every one of these characters, and you all want them to sort of overcome their challenges, and they're all entertaining. And this book is it's eerie. It really is eerie. It's certainly labeled as a horror book. There's so much more to it than that, though. Like I said, the coming of age story that goes along with it is just awesome. So this book is a ride, really, from beginning to end. Like I said, there's 7 characters, and each one of those kids has an encounter with that evil entity, and it's every one of those encounters is pretty eerie. It really is. It's intense and scary, and it's a great coming of age tale. These kids go through some real bad times and real torture, and it's not just you have little sort of side plots that go along. Like I said, a few of those kids have kind of messed up relationships with their parents. It goes into that, and you see each one of them survive and prevail, and it's really just a great novel. So that's it, guys. That's gonna be it for today. Stephen King's It. I'd love to know what you guys are reading. If you've never read any Stephen King before, I don't know if this is the one to start with, just because of the sheer size of it, but I can tell you that my opinion, and I think the opinion of a lot of other Stephen King fans, is that this is top notch Stephen King. This is what I always say, is that this book is Stephen King in his prime. So a lot of things changed, I think, for Stephen King after he had his accident in 1999, and then some might even say that some things, his writing style changed when he stopped, when he overcame his addiction. It's well known that Stephen King had a drug problem up until about the early 90s, and his writing style sort of changed a little bit after that. But prior to that, man, he was just wild. There was no holds barred, and he just kind of, he really, his brain, the inner workings of his brain are not like your average man. So, but it's just enjoyable. It's really entertaining to read his stuff. So, 1986's It by Stephen King. I'll see you guys next time.